Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our December Pitchmasters workshop. Happy and healthy holidays to all as we wind down December. We are really excited to have three fantastic presenters today, amazing entrepreneurs that are going to share their dream and provide a 6-minute pitch for which we will provide some feedback to get them ready to seek investment. My name is Lisa Friedlander. I'm the Chief Revenue Officer over here at Next, powered by Shulman Rogers. Next is an award-winning platform, the delivery of legal services to startup and emerging growth companies. We provide a whole variety of fixed fee packages to help de-risk your startup as you grow from formation all the way through to Series A and exit. So super excited to be here today. I'm glad we have such a full room. We are going to kick it off with Angel, our very first entrepreneur. As a reminder, folks, we have 6 minutes to pitch, and then we'll have a handful of feedback from myself as well as others in the room. It looks like last minute, unfortunately, our judges could not make it. Maybe they'll join as we get started, but if not, we've got a lot of experienced entrepreneurs here with us today that we can open up feedback. So with that, Angel, I will turn it over to you to go ahead and share your screen and get started whenever you're ready.
Okay, wonderful. Well, first off, good morning, everybody. I am Angel Livis. I am the CEO and founder of the Alive Podcast Network. I was diagnosed with anxiety and depression right around the same time that your show launched. I can't afford therapy, so you became my weekly accountability partner. Now that the show is gone, what am I supposed to do? That was a letter that I received from a listener after a mental health show that I'd created for a Black celebrity was canceled without any real reason. And after working in the media space for over 20 years for such celebrities as Larry King and Jane Pauley, and the list goes on, this was the first time that I'd bared witness to the disparities that existed for people who looked like me and those who I was accustomed to creating content for. This is why the Alive Podcast Network was created, to be the home of Black voices. The vision for Alive is to help established and emerging Black voices in the audio space by helping them with their content strategy, monetization, and distribution opportunities. Our target audience are millennials, mainly because they like a deep dive of information. They want to know why, they want to really understand and have a full, well-rounded perspective of why things are happening, whether it's from financial literacy, faith-based information, or just crucial social issues. Now, the problem is kind of threefold that we're addressing. We're going to start with the Black podcasters. For the most part, they're not succeeding. Most people think about it like, well, there's so many podcasts out there. This industry is oversaturated. Maybe true, but when you think of finding content that's relevant to you, that's reflective of who you are in your culture, it's hard to find that content. So it's little to no visibility on sites like Apple and iHeart and Spotify. And then it's hard for minorities to actually generate real revenue. One of the things that we also found is that there are no statistics around how much money Black creatives are actually making, or even the top 5 Black creatives in the podcasting space. And that's something else that we're looking to change. The market size, as I stated, less than 1% of Black creatives are actually generating real revenue. And we all know if you're not making money for something and you're just doing it, it's pretty much a hobby. And so being able to look at this across the board and figure out, okay, if they're investing their time, energy to create amazing content, how can we help them have a platform to be able to amplify their voice, monetize their content while maintaining ownership of their content? The second problem is Black listeners, they want to find content that's relevant to them, that reflects the Black cultural stories. And these statistics came from Edison Research and pretty much went along with everything that I kind of already knew around them wanting to be able to hear from Black hosts, find content relevant, as well as easily locate content that reflects their stories. The thing that was really interesting, Nielsen did a report last year, and they essentially found that Black listeners are more inclined to listen to podcasts than other demographics. The thing that was really interesting is that these same listeners are 50% more inclined to seek out Black-owned media. And there are not a lot of individuals like myself in this space. Now, this is the really fun part, because for advertisers want to be able to give money to Black-owned media and do the advertising to reach like Black consumers. And so the problem is they're so limited of Black-owned media entities that lack minority platforms to advertise on, that it's been really hard for them to really stand by a lot of their missions around saying, hey, we're going to allocate XYZ amount of dollars to go to Black-owned media. So last year alone, $2.5 billion went to reaching Black consumers. So one of the things that like advertising agencies have complained about was, but where can we be able to give this money and do these advertising spends on Black-owned media? And now Alive exists. So now there's a platform for exactly that. Our solution is to stimulate the Black creative economy while building community. Now, how do we plan on doing that? So far, we've been very successful. We're currently generating revenue from all 5 of our revenue options. So subscriptions, ad sales, production, host annual membership, and trainings. As you can see reflective, the top 2 are our main streams of revenue. So how does it work? Our hosts pay a monthly subscription. So that's our host annual membership, as well as listeners pay a $4.99 subscription fee. Beauty in it is we split that 50-50 with the host of their choosing. So if you're on our platform, you're going to generate revenue one way or the other, either through the subscription or through ad sales. So our goal is, in our app, we've built a proprietary app that's available in both iOS and Android. So our listeners have a place where they can go, building that hub. In addition to that, it's not like it's exclusive on our app. We distribute that content to all of the major podcast directories. So Apple, Spotify, iHeart, all of our content is everywhere. But that's where we drop our ads. So wherever people are listening, our hosts are able to generate revenue from that. Our go-to-market strategy is we're looking to build a consortium of established and emerging influencers and offer them shares in Alive. One of the things that you'll notice is that a lot of Black creatives, they don't own anything. Not sure if you guys recently heard what happened with Terrence Howard. He was one of the main characters on the movie Hustle and Flow. He recently came out and said that he only made $12,000 from that film, from the music that he created, as well as acting in the film. This is something that we see across the board in entertainment. It's not just limited to the podcasting space. So being able to give podcasters the opportunity to also have ownership in something is a big deal. One of the people that you'll see here is Tamar Braxton. I created Tamar Braxton's podcast, Under Construction, which we were up for NAACP Image Award last year. My team is myself. I have over 20 years of media experience, as I stated earlier, working for such hosts as Larry King, Jane Pauley, number of awards under my belt. And most recently, last year, we became a Techstars portfolio company powered by JP Morgan. And like I said, we've won a number of awards. One of our chief operations officer has worked in the startup space for over nearly 10 years. And so he brings a wealth of knowledge around the startup space. All right. Now, what we're looking for.
You can wrap it up, Angel. You're well over 6 minutes.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, this is the last slide.
Okay.
So our ask is we're actually looking for 1.5 million to help finish out our build and to be able to hire new staff. I mean, most of the money is going to expanding our team. And that's all. So thank you very much for your time. Again, my name is Angel Libas. I'm the CEO and founder of the Alive Podcast Network.
Thanks, Angel. Well done. Slides look great. I'm going to give a little bit of feedback and then open it up to the group to give some feedback as well. Feel free to stop sharing if you'd
I'm
like, so
trying
we can
to. Okay, there we
see
go.
everybody. No worries, no worries. Great job. Congratulations on Techstars and all the success so far. So a couple things for me. At the beginning, I wasn't sure if you were a podcast yourself or if you were a platform. That became evident as you spoke, but a little bit too far down as I'm, having question marks as I'm listening to you. So I would make that super clear right up front. I would also talk about your background right up front, which is incredibly impressive and directly relevant to what you're doing. I like the way you kicked off with the quote. I thought that was really powerful and definitely drew me in. So I like that, but I would move sort of your background and what exactly you are a little bit closer to upfront. The biggest problem for me is that you spent well over 4 minutes on the problem and you only had 6, and that's why you ran out. So obviously you're going to have different amount of time depending upon, what the pitch is. But I think you can really condense and streamline setting up the problem. You did a great job of it. And I recognize that there's a lot there, both in terms of content providers as well as in listeners. So it's a marketplace you're trying to solve, but I think that you can easily get it down. Maybe you had 5 slides. You should easily be able to get it down to 2 slides and just talk about from both sides, right? The content providers and the listeners, the advertisers being tied to, the listeners, they're trying to reach the listeners. The information you had was good. It just took up way too much time. Especially if you have a 6-minute pitch. If you have a longer pitch, maybe that's okay. There's nothing really about your competition. Is it like Libsyn and Casted or other platforms? Like, who is your competition and why are you different? Obviously, you're different for all the reasons that you stated, but I think it's worth having something in there about your competition. Who are these content producers using now? Why is it failing? You address that, but just some notion about who your competition is. And then for me, I loved the business model in terms of the listener fees being shared by the host. You have a lot of revenue streams there. Some may or may not be relevant. I think it's important to focus on the top revenue streams, and then sort of we also have others that we're focusing on, or maybe down the road. You don't want to give people the impression that you're all over the place when you're pitching, like your main, the main way you make money. And what is that subscription fee? Like, I don't know. And your slide that you saw that showed, of course, the hockey stick growth of all these revenue models. I have no idea what your current revenue is from that, or what's going to be in the next year, or what you envision it's going to be at the end of 2024. And then lastly, the use of funds slide. This is a big pet peeve for me. Others may feel differently. I don't need to see a chart of I'm raising 1.5 million and 200,000 is going here and 100,000 is going here. But that's not all that helpful. What's more helpful is, again, to go back to the traction. This is where we are here. This is where we were before Techstars. This is where we got to because of Techstars. And this is where we're going. And the 1.5 million is going to enable us to get from A to B. And this is how we're going to do it. I think that's a much more powerful way to talk about the use of funds than just percentages and pie charts. A lot of people tend to do that. I don't find it as an investor all that helpful. Does all that make sense?
Yes. No, that was wonderful. Thank you. Sorry, I was just in here taking notes.
No, not at all. And this is recorded, so you don't have to worry about capturing anything. So I will, for the next couple of minutes, I will open it up to the group. Feel free to raise your hand, put comments in the chat. Obviously, everybody is, entrepreneurs have done this, or investors, and listened to pitches, so I'd love to hear. Miranda.
Hi, Miranda with Seed Spot here. I actually have a podcast myself, and this is what I consume the most of. So what I was really looking for in your pitch, which, by the way, love the idea, love the business, love what you're doing, really agree with you. I think there was a lot there. And the piece that I was mainly focused on, I'm like, your rollout plan. I know from this space is saturated. this is a very saturated space, and that rollout plan to me was really crucial. Like, how are you going to really get into an already saturated space? And I don't mean to discourage you in any way. I look at businesses like Justin's Peanut Butter. They entered a saturated market in a like slightly unique and different way, and were able to immediately roll out with their slightly different value proposition. And I think you really have something there, but I think you left a lot up to interpretation. Like, how are you going to, in one or two sentences, really differentiate the work that you're doing from the competition? And I think that's what Lisa mentioned. Like, there was a very little about your competition there. And then with that rollout, how are you going to get these podcasters to come over to your network right away? So that would be my main feedback. That's different from what Lisa said. And thanks for doing what you're doing.
Miranda. My apologies for not realizing that you were here from SeedSpot. SeedSpot is one of our partners on Pitchmasters. So Miranda, do you want to introduce yourself and SeedSpot real quick?
Yeah, I'm Miranda Williamson. I'm with SeedSpot. We work to support through training, mentorship, and access to fund diverse entrepreneurs across multiple backgrounds. We're working with entrepreneurs in the community health equity space right now. We're just rolling out an incubator for entrepreneurs of color in the retail space to get them access to large retailers. So we do all of that and more.
And more, indeed. Thank you, Miranda. Anybody else have some feedback for Angel? Everybody's quiet today, Angel. Yeah, I mean, I think between what Miranda and I said, hopefully you feel like you've gotten some good sense of where to go. Obviously, you participated in Techstars, so I'm sure that you got a ton of great advice and mentoring there. You're clearly on to something. I don't think anybody would doubt that based upon the numbers that you provided. It's just a question of, as with anything, I guess, execution. So when you're speaking to investors, you need to let them know, yes, you're solving a real problem. That seems evident, just maybe streamline it. This is where you are now. You're already achieving success with X, Y, and Z. This is what you plan to do with, the investment dollars that you're going to get, how you're going to go from A to B, and why you are the entrepreneur to execute and win on this, which you clearly are. So those are like the core things that you always want to make sure you hit home.
Okay. No, this was great. Thank you, everybody, for your feedback.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Del, would you like to go next? You're on mute, Del.
Oh, yeah, I'm ready.
There you go. All right. Well, feel free to share your screen with whatever works best for you. I know we had some technical issues earlier.
Yeah, I'm going to have to share the screen. But first and foremost, I want to thank God for giving me this opportunity and everybody for showing up to even listen to my first pitch.
We're all excited to hear.
Well, my company's name is Better Days Logistics. My wife is the owner, and I'm the co-owner of Better Days Logistics. The problem solving that we bring to this industry is we work with owner-operators in the trucking industry. The challenges of securing the work and loads of traveling and leasing trucks in larger companies. Our solutions are keeping them within 200 miles of radius and bringing them back home every day. Because most of the time, our drivers they get gone 5 days out the week and they don't even spend much time with their families. So that's one of the things that we found out opening our company, working with owner operators. Our competitive edge, Better Days Logistics is focused on government contracting, certifications, and contract opportunities. Our market is targeted owner operators in the Hampton Roads area, go 757. And we like to position ourselves, we already positioned ourselves in the port related businesses in the Hampton Roads area. We're capitalizing on the port and the projects and other expansion jobs that's coming out, like the dump truck work that's coming for VDOT 2. So there's more things I just added. Our marketing plan, we haven't really got to that because really my funding I'm self-funded. I'm a self-funded company. So price of me getting into marketing, we have looked into it, and within the next 3 years, it might cost me $30,000 just in marketing to get my company out marketing. But our target market is owner operators, trucking industry, and our distributions. We are FEMA certified, and we can do VDOT work too. It's over $120 billion being used a year in the trucking industry. Just in Virginia, we spend over $1,700,000,000. Wow, a lot of money. And out of the 28 in Portsmouth, I'm one of them. Our direct competition, we have C.H. Robinson, Crawley, Worldwide Logistics. Our indirect competition is freight marketers and digital freight platforms. But our competitive advantages are we're a hub zone company, we're SWAM certified. We're in the process of DBE, and our 3-year projections, we did 24,000 in 2023. 2024, we're looking at we should be making over 100,000, and in 2025 we should be doing over 300,000. And we were just looking for 2,500 so we can keep up with our memberships. And thank you. You can contact us at our P.O. Box 108, Portsmouth, Virginia, 23701. And our phone number is 757-821-7747. You can reach us at betterdays5053@gmail.com. That's the end of my presentation. If you have anything else you want to talk about, but my history of being in Virginia, we've been in Virginia for over 40 years now. And I'm born and raised, I went to school in Virginia. It's just the history of it. And we just want some work out of Virginia. Just want to work with Virginia. 757, go 757.
Awesome. Thanks, Del. You can stop sharing and we'll give some feedback from myself and Miranda and then open it up again, just like what we did for Angel. Thanks for your presentation. Actually, the slides look really nice and clean. Sometimes we have a lot of slides with a lot of stuff on it. I'm not going to really talk about your pitch per se. I'm going to just give you some general advice in terms of where you are. And since you are in 757, there's a great, you may be familiar, 757 Angels and 757 Venture Studios, like they have accelerator and incubator programs. I can tell that you're onto something. I don't know exactly what, because you, unlike Angel, like you didn't spend really much time at all describing what the problem was and what your solution was and how you're going to tackle. I get the market's big. That's awesome. I certainly can understand enough of it to understand that there's an opportunity there. This is what you live, eat, and breathe for, I'm sure, many, many years. So I would understand that you're be a great person to solve this problem. The certifications were good. The competition are big 800-pound gorillas, but nonetheless, you seem like you're onto something. I would recommend, and Seed Spot is a great alternative, and Miranda can talk about that too. I know there's 757 studios or venture right in your own backyard. I would recommend you going through an accelerator program with this concept. it will really help you hone in a number of different ways, not just on your pitch and presentation, but really how you're going to go to market with this.
Right.
And how are you going to develop it, and get mentors and advisors that can speak to all the different areas that you're going to need, because you have a real kernel here, a real seed, in Seed Spot. You have something, but I feel like you don't have the resources. Maybe you don't have the resources to really get this off the ground in a meaningful way that's going to lead to an investment. Because what you presented today is not really an investable business from an investor perspective. It's certainly an investable business in terms of, banks or loans or grants or, participating in competitions. But in terms of an angel group or a VC, you have not presented that kind of opportunity. Maybe you don't need to, maybe that's fine. Not every business has to be, a venture backable business. But if that is where you're heading, then I believe, or would encourage you to participate. Take this really great idea, take all your experience, take your knowledge of the industry and the problems that these drivers are experiencing, and your ideas of how to make it better, and participate in one of these programs and let them help you really refine it and refine your go-to-market strategy, refine what your app's going to look like or your website's going to look like, refine the competition, the positioning. And I think after participating in something like that, you're going to move so much faster than you would otherwise. So that's just a pitch for Seed Spot and or others. I know state of Virginia has lots of stuff too. So lots of resources out there. Miranda, I'll turn it over to you.
Yeah, I 100% agree with Lisa. It sounds like you're one of these entrepreneurs who has a rich knowledge of the ecosystem you're working in, but maybe lacks some of that surrounding business acumen that's really going to help you take this to the next level. You mentioned, for example, 30K in marketing that you need. Why do you need 30K in marketing? If you're so entrenched in the community as an individual, there are so many grassroots marketing techniques and strategies that you can employ. That's an accelerator program, one of these more accessible accelerator programs like Seed Spot, and I'm happy to also recommend those entrepreneurial ecosystems rooted in Virginia. I'm a part of a network in Virginia as well that will help you with free resources to help you get that next layer of skills that you need to get your business going. And I agree with Lisa also, like, think critically if investment is the right route for you. It looks like sole proprietorship and ownership over your work and your business might be the best way to go. And so thinking about whether or not investment is something that you even want to ever get to, I think is something really valuable at this moment in time in your development.
Well, we've been self-funded because we started off, learning this business. Me and my wife started because when we got into this, my best friend taught me into going to school to be learn the logistics side of trucking. But 2 years ago, he passed away. And I lost that contact. Yeah, I lost that contact as far as where do I go further with the trucking side. But I still got into the broker side more than I got into the trucking or having assets. So we do have over 100 owner operators already that's working and doing things for us. But my whole thing is I wanted to get into the corporation side of it and start doing business as far as with lineage, VDOT, the state corporations, the things that we have around here, and if there's anybody that would help, because a lot of my biggest problem out here is other logistics companies don't want to work with logistics companies as far as teaching them how to get bigger, because you're taking money from me, and that's just what I've learned.
Yeah, it sounds like an accelerator would certainly help you with finding the mentors that you need to help you get that knowledge.
And even the women's, one of the certification I noticed, is a women's small business, or something certification. There's lots of resources in those organizations as well to help you really refine and hone in on your value proposition and what you want to offer. But it sounds like you're well on your way in terms of what you want to do. If you got 100 people already, using your services, that's really something. And just maybe getting some advisors or a program that's going to help you really navigate how to move through this in a more efficient way, right? You
Right,
can
right.
certainly do it on your own, but and really deepest sympathies for the loss of your friend. I'm so sorry to hear that.
Right, because I said,
but thank you, Del, for. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
no, you good.
No. Finish your thought.
I said and I know he always wanted me to do well. You know what I mean? Because
Oh,
I grew up in the military type of my father was a sergeant major in the Army. I went in the military. I didn't even use my VA as far as starting our business because I wanted my wife to actually be the one that's in charge of this because she is a quote
okay.
and control freak.
Duck.
Oh, we got you, Del. We got you. Well, I encourage you to use both. You're a veteran. Thank you for your service. You should be using that and using services for veteran-owned businesses as well. So use everything at your disposal. Thanks to you both. Laurel, I will bring up our third entrepreneur who I love seeing Laurel here as a reminder to everybody that you can come back again and again. Laurel, I think this is your third time, maybe?
Yeah.
Third time, at least third time, maybe fourth, which is so great. I love that. Not many people do it. More people should do it because every time, one, your business is moving forward. So your everything's going to change. You get different feedback each time. It sets off, the engine churning in your mind in slightly different ways. So great to see you, my friend. Thank you for being here today. And I'll turn it over to you whenever you're ready.
Definitely. And great seeing you too. And yes, every time I pitch, it gets tweaked. So I like getting feedback as I tweak it in real time. Let me upload it right now. Give me one moment.
Yep.
See if it's popping up.
It made you co-host, so you should be good to go.
Okay. Okay, share screen. Okay, should be here. Okay, can you all see my
It looks like it's coming. There we go. Yep, you can put it in presentation mode, but we can see it.
will do. All right. Can everyone
Awesome.
see it
The
now in
floor is
presentation mode?
yours. Yep.
All right.
Yep. Go right ahead.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. I hope you all are doing well. My name is Laurel, and I'm the founder of Spark. By leveraging artificial intelligence, we are revolutionizing how professionals and employers connect and engage. Our community uses Spark to connect directly with hiring managers to secure jobs and earn money through coaching and tutoring. Now, you may be thinking, what makes Spark unique? There are other platforms where you can get a job and make money, but where Spark differs from everyone else is that we have solved one nagging problem for our core user, the college student, and our core customer, the employer. Before we get into this problem, I want to highlight that Spark is live. We released our beta in May 2023, and we have over 60 employers such as Google, Facebook, and BCG. We have over 4,000 users and more than 75,000 in revenue and pending sales of $60,000. Last but not least, 45 people have made $1,000 on Spark from coaching and tutoring. Now, let's get back to the problem Spark is solving, which is the college student job recruitment process. We all know that talent is everywhere, but access to opportunity is not. This is why students feel overwhelmed spending hours applying to outdated job posts. And when they see their dream job, they don't believe they have a real shot because they notice that more than 200 people have applied in the past 24 hours and that they're not connected to anyone at that company. Employers can't stand the talent acquisition process. They get 100 resumes, spend time filtering through candidates, and realize none of the candidates meet their ideal job qualifications, so they resort to hosting a recruiting event, but only 20% of those attendees show up, and only 10% of those applicants meet their ideal job qualifications. And let's not talk about the College Career Research Center, which only 8% of students find useful, and employers view them as a paywall that rarely addresses their needs. The solution is an efficient and cost-effective way for students and hiring managers to connect directly, and this is where Spark comes in. On Spark, student organizations connect directly to employers to form partnerships and request recruiting events. Students can reach out to professionals at top companies on demand for career mentorship. Here are a couple of our testimonials. Mike secured a venture capital internship, and Jonah secured a consulting role at BCG. Now, for employers, let's say you run a venture capital firm and are recruiting financial analyst interns. On Spark, you can type in Finance Club, and immediately clubs matching your preference populate. And with one click of a button, you can send those clubs a job post. You can customize your search based on diversity and send all of those clubs a recruiting event invitation. Employees should no longer feel overwhelmed and overlook great talent at any school. And employers get to see the reviews of other student organizations from other employers, and they get to see the students' attendance ratings and response time to messages. Here are a testimonial from one of our paying customers, Star Mountain Capital. We make money 3 ways. 1, based on every hire. 2, a monthly fee for companies using our SaaS tool. And 3, anytime a person makes money on Spark, we take 16%. Spark currently sits in a $30 billion college student job recruitment market, but our goal is a global recruitment market, a $762 billion industry. Regarding the college student job recruitment market, Handshake is Spark's primary competitor, but students and employees despise the platform, and they only use it because the Career Center forces them to. We have raised $50,000 and are seeking $1.8 million to reach $700,000 in customer revenue and attain 200,000 users. As we look ahead, Spark plans to generate close to $2.5 million in revenue 3 years from now with a positive EBITDA. In 2011, I launched a social enterprise devoted to professional development and job placement for thousands of students. I worked with 21 schools and 20 Fortune 500 corporations. I raised over $200,000 and led a team of 16 volunteers. My social enterprise's success laid the groundwork for Spark to address a more significant problem in the educational system in a technologically savvy way. Florin is my CTO, and he's built 1 million lines of code on Spark. He could build anything, and we could do anything. Thank you.
Excellent job. And way below time, Laurel. Way below time. Excellent. I love seeing every new iteration of this presentation for what you're doing. Miranda, do you want to give some feedback first to Laurel?
Sure. First off, good job. I despise Handshake. I think what you're doing is necessary. The problem statement was very clear. I'm currently doing a search right now for a new someone to work with me, and I am running up against all of these pain points. So great job. Love what you're doing. Definitely see the problem, see the need for a one-stop shop that sort of addresses all of the concerns. My big feedback is really on your pacing. You were so fast.
Oh, okay.
I had a hard time following what was going on. Everything I did follow and did catch, loved it, right on. I felt like you were also, when I saw your face, you were like animated in such a beautiful way that I was getting excited just seeing you. But I think you could have afforded, given that you were under time as well, you could have afforded to slow down just a bit more so I could follow every key point that you made.
Understood.
Yeah, and that really is my only feedback. Otherwise, I thought your slides were beautiful. I thought your solution was beautiful. The problem statement, clear.
Thank you.
Thanks, Miranda. Yes,
Yeah.
I agree, Laurel. It was like, okay, wait a minute.
Understood.
Slow down. I need to take a breath for you. Feel free to stop sharing your presentation so we can see everybody. So a couple of things, Laurel, that I liked from this one that's different. I noticed on the first slide, you included AI, which of course, who isn't including AI these days? However, nowhere in the rest of your presentation did you tell me how you're using AI. So what you don't want to be is one of those companies that just throws it up there where it really doesn't have anything to do with what you're doing. And if you are using it, more power to you, but you need to explain to me how this is AI driven. If that makes sense. So that was the one big thing right out of the gate. I liked you reorganized the flow of the presentation, and I liked how you started like with your traction. I think that's a really interesting way of pulling people in, even though we didn't quite know what you were doing yet. So it was maybe a little bit disconcerting, but you showed me right away that you're working with these incredible brands on both sides. And that I've always given you that feedback, I think is one of your greatest assets for that. The drawback for that right out of the gate is when you listed your revenue. So for me, I had a big question mark in seeing these amazing brands and these 4,000 and one, like these amazing numbers, but your revenue dollars were super low. And there seemed to be a disconnect for me there. So I think at the outset, maybe you stick with the brands and the users, you keep the money piece out, maybe a little bit further down when you're talking about the use of funds. You know, we've bootstrapped up to X revenue. And, you know, we previously raised whatever you said, and then now we're raising, you know, 1.5 to get to there. And I like how you did it. You actually did it how I suggested a minute ago, in terms of the use of funds, which I think is really impactful. So I appreciated that you do that. So for me, again, there was just a little bit of a question mark and disconnect on the low revenue, given how much traction that you actually have. I love the testimonials. Those were great. You moved through them super quickly. Comment on your competitive slide for Handshake. You notice that they're your biggest competitor. This is super picky, but move them over one left on the other side of LinkedIn. So it's like you have Spark and Handshake side by side. You know what I mean? If they're your biggest competitor and not LinkedIn, like why not just have them next to you guys? That image is really powerful. And so, I mean, super simple and easy, but I thought your slides generally looked really good. A few were a little busy, but for the most part, I totally agree with Mariana. Just slow down, take a breath, give us a chance to hear and process what you are saying before you move us on, you know, to the next one. So this is all future of work. This is AI. You know, if you're going to use some of these big buzzwords, that's great. Just make sure you tell us how it's going to impact what you're doing.
No, understood.
So with that, I'll open it up. Yeah. But always a great job, Laurel, always a great job, and excited to see the growth for Spark. If you have an issue raising the you might have an issue raising the 1.5, depending upon how it's going. The market's really challenging right now. And you're going
agree.
From very low, you might be better off shooting for 500K to 750. Maybe you oversubscribe. That's a good problem to have. Versus
I'm thinking
not
that
really getting.
No, you're right. And I'm hoping in the next 4 to 16 weeks that we will generate another like 280,000 in revenue. I have 60,000 pending and others. So I'm kind of, know, trying to, get over about a $350,000 hurdle very soon. Hopefully.
Okay. You will, no doubt. I'll open it up to the group. If everybody has additional feedback for Laurel or any of our entrepreneurs today.
Yeah, what stuck out to me was the disconnect between I was anxious to see where AI was going to be applied in this situation. I think you've identified a heck of a market. If AI really helps with that, smooths the process, then you're off to the races.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Any other feedback? Kent, go ahead.
Yeah, this is Kent. Laurel, great job. I enjoyed your presentation last week at Halcyon too.
Oh, you were there. You're okay. You're at Halcyon.
I have the same feedback that Lisa gave you. Your pace is too fast. That slide where you had one person giving feedback. The same thing happened today. You mentioned the person giving feedback, but I couldn't read his quote.
I understand. Yeah, the testimonial. I understand.
Yeah. If you have a chance, I'd like to hear something about your Halcyon experience.
Definitely. Inside the deck or just highlighting my experience? Like,
Kent, did you mean to include a Halcyon? I mean, why not, Laurel? Why not? If you participated in Halcyon, stick it up there so far in terms of your traction of where you are, Halcyon company. I mean, that's just shows credibility and traction as well. You don't have to necessarily spend a ton of time talking about it or even talk about it at all. But, you know, when you talk about your traction and where you've been, you can mention that for sure.
Definitely.
Any other comments or feedback for Laurel or Angel or Dell? I really appreciate everybody being here today. Miranda, any upcoming events for SeedSpot or incubator programs that applications are open for? Anything you want to plug real quick before we wrap up?
Yeah, we have a community health incubator that the applications just opened up. They're due February 1st, and this one comes with an automatic $15K in non-diluted grants to any participant, additional $10K available for anyone who is able to secure a partnership, which we support with, and then additional $200K follow-on investment for for-profit enterprises. It comes with training, mentorship, guidance, all of that, and broad definition of community health. So anyone who is addressing job readiness, financial literacy, childcare, senior care, unhoused populations, all of these types of disparities that we face in our communities. So that is one program that's open, will be opening up in February 1st, is a retail accelerator. The full goal of this accelerator is to secure big name retail contracts for entrepreneurs from diverse backgrounds. So it'll be entrepreneurs that are underrepresented and underserved. And it's fully funded as well, and it will help secure those contracts for the entrepreneurs that we work with. And then I do have another accelerator, one more I'll mention, and that's an accelerator that is our flagship accelerator, and that one's coming up in March. And that one has a very low barrier to entry, and I do heavily offer that one's not fully funded, but I do heavily offer scholarships to entrepreneurs for that one. So yeah, reach out to me if you're interested in any of those.
Lots of good stuff.
Yeah.
Lots of good stuff. Thank you, Miranda. And thank you for being here today and for SeedSpot's partnership in Pitchmasters. Thank you all for joining. Special shout out to Angel and Dell and Laurel. Thank you guys for presenting your amazing companies today and listening to the feedback. Thanks all to our audience for joining us. Wishing everybody a very happy and healthy holiday season. Check out next.law for all of our upcoming events. We do Pitchmasters monthly. We do a monthly partner webinar on a variety of different topics that are relevant to startups. And we do a monthly founders Q&A with Anthony Millen, who is the founder of Next, a venture capital partner and serial entrepreneur. So always lots going on over here at Next, and we hope to see you again soon. Take care, everybody.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.